Good morning, everyone. It's Lynn Dunn from Stamptastic Designs. Thanks so much for joining me today. So today we are going to focus on a bundle of products from the Sale-A-Bration catalog. So we are going to play around with this fun little bundle called Softly Sophisticated. So it has a really beautiful stamp set. I love flowers. You guys know that. Oh, looks like my volume is needs to be adjusted. There we go. So it's a really beautiful stamp set. There's two different floral images in this set. And of course, they coordinate with the little foliage here. So the little stems. So it's kind of like a two-step stamp. You stamp the stems and then you add your flowers, which is really cool because then you don't have your flowers all in one stamp. You have the flower part separate from the stems, so it makes it easy to change out the colors. So I really love this stamp set, but along with this stamp set is a um, embossing folder. So a 3D embossing folder. So this is what it looks like, and that's what we're going to be using today. So I'm going to use the embossing folder and this stamp set to share a bunch of different card ideas with you. Um, Hello, everybody. If you're just joining me, we are focusing on the Softly Sophisticated stamp set and embossing folder, which is one of the many different items that you can get for free with a qualifying purchase during Sale-A-Bration. So I really had a lot of fun with this stamp set and embossing folder. So I hope you guys enjoy these card ideas. So good morning, everybody. Good morning. All right, so let's jump in here. These are the cards that I'm going to walk you through. I decided to stay with just one color combo. You can, of course, make these in any colors that you want. But these are the colors that I'm using today. So I'm using Pool Party, whoops, Granny Apple Green, and Daffodil Delight. So those are the three colors in all of the cards that I'm featuring today. And then I'm also featuring one of the dies from the Something Fancy die set. So this is what the die set looks like. And I'm using this larger fancy die right here to create my focal point for the cards. But you can really use any die cut shape you want to create your focal point. All right, so let's start out. We're going to start out with this card. Let's see. I always run out of room here on my desk. So I really love the embossing folder. I got a little bit of glare here. Sorry, guys. I really love this embossing folder, and I think it just has just a really elegant look to it. All right, so I'm also using some of the pattern paper from the Softly Stippled Designer Series paper pack. That is also an item that you can choose, a celebration item you can choose for free with a qualifying purchase. Now, the designer paper is free with a $50 purchase, but the bundle I'm sharing today, the stamp set and the embossing folder, that is free with a $100 purchase. So there are two different levels. So it just depends on what you're looking for. Okay, so the first thing I did is I just embossed a piece of white cardstock. I wanted to kind of stick with the white on white because I think it just looks really elegant. So this is just a 5¼ by 4" piece of white cardstock, and I just embossed it with that 3D embossing folder. So we'll add this first. I think I got my card base upside down. Not that it matters at this point, but it will matter at some point. All right. So I just think it gives it a really cool look, just that white on white. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp let's move this out of the way here first. Give myself a little bit of room. There we go. Let's see if I can tone this down. I always have to adjust this. There we go. All right, so we're going to start with, I'm going to start by adding the greeting actually. So there's a little greeting in this set that fits perfectly on this little die here. So we will add the hello there up at the top. And so I just did that in Pool Party. And then we'll go ahead and add the flowers. So we'll start with the Granny Apple Green. And what I like about this, like I said, is you get to add, your greenage first. So we'll add this right on the bottom there. So you get to add the leaves first, and then we'll go ahead and we'll add the flowers over the top. So I like that the images are separate. It just makes it easier for adding the color. And I just inked up my my ink pad here, so this is gonna be probably kind of juicy. Oh, not bad. All right, so that's the flower. Isn't that pretty? It's just really, really a neat little set. All right, so now that we have the focal point created. Let me bring this back here. There we go. And this always goes on, notice how it always goes on darker. So here the flower looks a little bit lighter than here, but once that dries, it'll lighten up just like that other one. So the next thing I did is I just cut a piece of cardstock and a piece of designer paper. So this is that softly stippled designer paper. You can use any designer paper you want with this layout. So this is just a 3 by 2 inch piece. And then I have a 1 by 4 inch piece of Daffodil Delight cardstock. So basically, I'm just going to adhere these two pieces together. And this kind of creates my little focal point, kind of the background, I should say, for my focal point. So we'll adhere those two pieces together, and then we will adhere them to the card front. So even if you don't have this particular stamp set, just really like this layout. It just it's just a very simple layout, but it has just a really stunning effect. I just love how that looks. So I'm just gonna give this a second to just set up here because we're adhering it over the top of embossing. And then we're going to go ahead and add our focal point, and that's really it. Isn't that neat? So I don't know if you saw this in the Sale-A-Bration catalog. Excuse me, guys. I'm still getting over my cold. I have a little bit of cough and congestion left. All right, so let's put this over the top. And then we'll add some little gems here. I got some little tiny gems. And then I'll show you the inside. So I like the little gems because it kind of gives the impression of little buttons. Oh, excuse me, I got something to drink here. Hang on. I don't know what's going around, but it's not fun. All right, so that's the first card, and then you can use that image on the inside of the card to decorate the inside of the card. So it's just a very simple way to decorate the inside of the card. So that is the first one that I wanted to share. The next one is another simple little idea here. Oops. Let me move these out of the way. All right, there's the card. So I just went very simple with all the designs. So I started out with a 1 by 5 1/4 inch piece. This is a really great design, um, for a focal point like this, just kind of adding just a little bit of color. So I'm adding a little bit of that pool party designer paper, and that'll just be on the left side of the card front. And then I just have a 3 by um, 5 1/4 inch piece of embossed white cardstock. So I just use that embossing folder. You can use any embossing folder, but obviously I'm going to use what comes with this particular bundle. So we'll add this. It just gives a really nice little background. And then I just added a little 1/4 inch piece of pool party cardstock. So this is a 1/4 inch wide and it's 5 1/4 inches long. And I just added that kind of right over the seam here between the two, just to kind of break it up a little bit. And then I added my focal point. So I created the exact same focal point that I used on the previous card. So I won't make you watch me stamp it again. So I already stamped it. But then we'll just pop this up on the card. And then we have another really pretty and very simple card idea. And these colors go really good together. Pool Party, Granny Apple Green, and the Daffodil Delight. So we'll just pop that up. And then we can add some little gems down the side. So we'll add, I'm just using smaller ones. So these are the larger ones in this pack. Obviously, I'm almost done with this pack. So, so I might as well use up the small ones. We'll just add a couple small ones there. So very simple and just really beautiful. And on the inside, I added some designer paper. And then again, I stamped that same image that I used on the outside. I stamped it on the inside just to decorate the inside of the card. All right, so that is the second card. And then this last card is just another very simple design. I like the look of the banner. So let me grab this here. And I'll show you how to create this one. So for this one, I have a couple different pieces. I have a 3 by 5 1/2 inch piece of white cardstock, and that runs the full length of the card. And then I just embossed it again with that embossing folder. And then this time I matted it out with a piece of Daffodil Delight. So this is 3 1/2 by 3 3/4. So I basically just put this behind here just to kind of draw out that yellow color. So I'm going to add these two pieces together here. And then we'll put it down the center of the card front. So I like to glue them together first so I can get them somewhat straight. And then we'll add it to the card front. So you could do this with any embossing folder and any colors. All right, so we'll add that. And that's the basic background. All right, and then I just cut a 1 by 4 1/2 inch piece of the designer paper, and I just snipped the end into a little banner. And so this is going to get adhered behind my focal point. So I'm going to add some glue here. And we'll secure these two pieces together. And it just adds just a little touch of blue and just gives it a really fun look. So let's add some dimensionals. Oh yeah, it kind of does look like Mango Melody, doesn't it? Well, I did darken up the lighting a little bit because I was getting a little bit of a glare, but it's not Mango Melody. It is Daffodil Delight. All right, so we'll add this right down the center. So simple, right? Very simple, um, but just very pretty. And then we'll just add our little gems again. And these are some of the new, I forget what they're called, iridescent something or other. Iridescent foiled gems. I suppose I should just look at the back, huh? Iridescent foiled gems. So they're really a very pretty little gem. Obviously, I've enjoyed them because I'm almost out. So, all right, so that's what that basic design looks like. And then on the inside, I added more designer paper. So my designer paper on the inside is 3/4 inches wide. And then this one's just 5 1/4 inches long. And then I like to add just a little bit of cardstock um, along with the designer paper just to kind of pull out the colors that I'm using. So this is a 1/4 inch wide and it's about 4 1/2 inches long. So that's Daffodil Delight. All right, so that is card number 3. So let me grab these cards again. So these are the cards that I shared. Those are 3. I have a couple more ideas. I was playing around with a variety of different layouts and to create these cards. And then, of course, every time I'm designing, I end up with scraps. So I like to use up my scraps right away. Oh, the vellum's coming, Nancy. Here's the vellum. So I like to use up my scraps right away. So that's what I did here. I just used some scrap pieces of the designer paper. So they're about 3/4 inches wide. And this middle piece is about 1 1/2. So it's just embossed. This middle white piece is 1 1/2 by 5 1/4. And these are 3/4 by 5 1/4. So very simple way to use up your scraps. And then this design is very similar to this one, except for that this one's in portrait style, this one's in landscape style, but very similar in design. I made the designer paper here just a little bit larger. So this is 1 1/4 inches wide. This one's only 1 inch wide. And then I just changed this out to the daffodil color instead of the pool party. And of course, I added my vellum. Here's my little vellum. Gotta have vellum. Let's see if I can use on here. And then here's the last one that I did. This one let's see if I can make this brighter, guys. There we go. This one I have used up all those little scrap pieces and just kind of alternated the colors, the embossing and the DSP. I just alternated it all the way down. So each of these pieces are 3/4 inches wide, and this middle one I think is 1. I'll tell you in a second. It's 1 inch wide. So the middle piece is 1 inch, and the rest of these pieces are 3/4 inches wide. And I just ran them at 5 1/4 inches long, and then just a little bit of stuff on the end here, just to do something a little bit different. So those are the cards that I have to share with you today. Um, I really enjoyed this bundle. So if you didn't see the bundle, I'll show it to you again here. This is the bundle that I'm using to create all these cards, called Softly Sophisticated. And I used this floral for all 6 of the cards, but there is another floral in here that you can use as well. And this particular product bundle, whoops, there we go. Well, you can kind of see them. This particular product bundle also comes with an embossing folder. So it comes together as a bundle. It is a Sale-A-Bration item. So it is free with a $100 purchase during Sale-A-Bration. So definitely go check that out. It is a really beautiful bundle. And there's a lot more things I'm sure that you can do with it than just the 6 cards that I shared with you today. So, all right. So those are the cards I have. I will get those out on the blog for you later this afternoon so you can take a peek at those and get all the measurements in case you missed the measurements as I was going along. And I hope you guys enjoyed these card ideas and have a wonderful rest of your day and a great week. And I will see you guys all again next week. So take care, everybody.